Well, hello, good evening, everybody. We're back with Conor and Brownie back again. The Cheshire Cats right now, grins from ear to ear. How does it feel to be champions? How does it feel to be Leeds? Are we a bit too premature with this? It certainly doesn't feel like it. Mr. Brown has joined me for this one. Dave, how's it going, bud?
I think I'll need another shirt with 25 on the back, mate. Not even us can mess this up. I don't think. It just has a different feel. It just feels. I mean, last night they came at us first 20, 25 minutes, and you know what? They gave it a really good go, but in the end, they just couldn't cope. They just could not cope.
Do you know what as well, Brown? It was interesting. I thought, obviously, me and you were there last night, but I thought it was very much the atmosphere, definitely from the Leeds end. I thought we were all commenting it. I was lucky enough to be in corporate, as you know, last night. And it seemed like, I don't know, maybe there was a bit of complacency going into the game. I don't know. Maybe it was the team and maybe it was the fans maybe a little bit expectant as well. I know I was, you were, and it just felt like that. Obviously, we just didn't get started, did we? It felt like it off and on the pitch, really. And obviously, that's what made it so great in the end. But I guess let's talk about the atmosphere in the game. It was a bit weird, wasn't it, Brown? It was a bit odd, I felt.
Oh, we commented going into the ground, walking around the ground. We was like, it felt really subdued. It felt like we were looking around thinking, is there a big game happening tonight? It felt really, really subdued. And I think, full credit to Sheffield United how they started. I think they took us by surprise as well. I wasn't expecting them to be like that. And I think that first 20 minutes rocked the team and the fans as well. It was like, crikey. We're in a game here. Thankfully, I think we ended the first half better. I wouldn't say on top, but definitely came into it. But that second half, before we scored, it just felt like something was coming. We just started to get on top where we'd had quite a few chances, quite a few overloads down the sides. And I think when we equalised, there was only really us looking like... Even their game plan seemed to change. Even at 1-1, their keeper was taking time. Their keeper was throwing the ball away. And Chris Wilder's comment at the end where we just shook hands on 88 and took a point each. That came across in that last 20 minutes. It didn't really feel like that they were as gung-ho as they were at the start. But in terms of atmosphere, it might have been a bit subdued at the start, but it was like a zoo come 93 minutes. Tell you what, there'll be a few sore heads this morning.
Looking at one, mate. Looking at one. I'm going straight to bed after this, mate. Straight to bed.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it was roles reversal, as you like, as early on in the season when we were the home team and we were the one generating the atmosphere, and they give it a good go. And thankfully for us, this Leeds team, like I said, it feels just a little bit different this time. When we went up before, there was the nervousness of it being 16 years and can we do it? Can we get over the line? And even last year, we were never really in control. We were always chasing, and it always most felt like there was a defeat in us. There was a defeat around the corner at I don't know where QPR when we got battered 4-0, or Stoke where Bamford missed it. It just felt like there was always one of them games in us. Whereas this season, it doesn't. I mean, you look at the last 5, 6, 7 games, we've conceded 2.
Look at the games as well, by the way. Look at the games.
I remember me and you having this conversation going into the upcoming games: Sheffield United, Sunderland, Coventry away, Watford away. We've just absolutely steamrolled through it and took maximum points. And in years gone by, that I don't think that Leeds team does. It'd have chucked in a 2-1 defeat away at Watford, or drop points at home somewhere. Or with this team, it just genuinely feels just that next level. I mean, 75 points, 71 goals, genuinely could get 100 points, 100 goals. It genuinely could happen now that we've beat Sunderland and Sheffield United back to back. Keep saying it. We said 11 wins from 17. That's very quickly become 6 wins from 12 just to get to 93 points. And we've, in the end, blown Sheffield United and Sunderland away. Because even the Sunderland game, they were the better team in the first part of the game, and it's we've had to weather that storm. We've gone behind, but we've still found a way to get through it. Didn't even have the captain on the pitch last night, and still looked seamlessly. Everybody nailed on to what they were doing, and I think Chris Wilder mentioned it about we can bring Nonto on. Well, you spent more than us in January, mate. You brought on Cannon, who you spent 13 million. So let's not pretend that you've not spent money, and let's not play the poor paupers.
Because they like doing that, don't they?
Yeah,
they like playing the poor little boys.
They've spent a little bit of money themselves, but they've spent it on Cannon and Ball. Do you know what I mean? It's up to you where you spend your money. And from what I saw, I mean, last night I thought Vaksaki had Firpo in all sorts of trouble first half, and he really penned him in. And Firpo was struggling to really get up the pitch. Second half, when Vaksaki went off, Firpo had the freedom of Bramall Lane. So let's not. He was gracious and saying well done to Leeds, blah blah. But some of the comments about bringing Nonto on, I mean, he brought Hamer on. He should have been sent off.
Well, he mentioned the fans as well, didn't he? He was like, "Oh, we couldn't. I didn't hear anything. Something I'm paraphrasing, but I didn't hear anything from them for 65 minutes. They were quiet. They had nothing to, or something like that. I'm wording it. I'm wording around it. But yeah, look, the thing is, mate, we've chefed them up the last 3 times at Bramall Lane. You know, so they can talk about Basham arriving, but I think we've beaten them 5 out of the last 6 times. The difference is we just don't make a DVD out of it. But the big
Muppets from Leeds, Matt.
Muppets from Leeds. That's all we are. Yeah.
And when it didn't annoy me because the atmosphere was. It was a big game last night. If they beat us, they go above us, and it was a big game. And how they started, fair play to Sheffield United. They did. They came at us, and I think it rocked us as a fan base and a team. You could see it on the pitch. Passes were going astray. People arguing with each other. But I think rather than having a go at our fans, maybe ask why you're not selling out for your big game.
Also, what I'd say as well. Also, what I'd say is I think he made a few wrong decisions. I think Tyrese Campbell was actually playing pretty well. Took him off for Cannon, who came on and was anonymous. He brought Hamer on, who just looked like someone had lit a fire beneath him, and he was piling into tackles, as you say. He should have been sent off, and he looked. I mean, I'll be honest, mate. I thought he looked overweight. He looked out of sorts. He didn't look fit at all, and we started really gaining a bit of momentum when he made those subs. So, like the first game, when Wilder went to a back 5 and then got heavily criticised, I thought as soon as he made those changes, obviously we made the changes a little bit early, which massively helped us. But I thought he just clipped their legs by making those 2 changes. To be honest with you,
yeah, I do. I think the subs did swing a lot of the momentum. Hamer was no longer a player out there like the Vaksaki on the other side who wanted to just run and direct. He wanted to come in and play, and I did. He just looked like he wanted to hurt people, like get the crowd going by putting one in on Bogle. And I don't know if you'd have heard it from where you were, but he got told how much overweight he was. On the corners, and he had a good bite. He had a good nibble. No pun intended there, by the way. But yeah,
what was he? Was he giving it back? Was he?
Oh, he gave a bit back, yeah, to our delight.
Brilliant.
It was just before the goal as well, which was funny.
Well, I was told by a very, very, well, pretty much nailed on source actually that there was never any bid from Leeds in the summer, and that was all just waffle from their side apparently. So there you go. Take that with a pinch of salt, but
in terms of us, I think it was another night where.
Well, can I sorry, mate, to interrupt. Can I ask you about the start? I mean, I thought the starting Gruev, you know my thoughts. I think we've seen now with a couple of games. Look, I know you made that brilliant clearance off the line. And yeah, kudos to him for that. But I just think it's a negative change for me on this Leeds United side. I think he's very lateral and seems to just retreat a lot. And I think in that first sort of half, you saw him just giving the ball really a lot of the time to the centre-backs, and the centre-backs retreating because then Sheffield United were getting higher up the pitch because Grueb was a little bit negative, I thought, on the ball. I didn't think he was good in the tight pockets in midfield. I thought they were Sidney Peck and Vinny Souza were winning those sort of individual duels, and Grueb just looks, I thought he looked all over the place, mate, to be honest. So I think it was important Rothwell came on and steadied it a little bit. But obviously Grueb did really well with that, the off-line clearance. Meslier... Yeah, look, we're doing it with Meslier in net at the minute, and we're still looking outstanding, which is unbelievable. But yeah, he's probably a little bit of a scupper for me. And then, like you say, Aronson, I don't know if you saw, but Vinny Souza was following him everywhere. Brownie, he was man marking him, so he couldn't.
He ate him alive, didn't he?
Yeah, killed him.
So it'd have been really interesting to see what would have happened if Ampadu was fit, because I think he'd have put Ampadu into midfield and played strike. I do. I think Gruev would have come out. I thought Gruev did start really poorly. I think he grew into it a little bit in the second half, but he started really poor. I thought midfield we were getting absolutely bullied, to be honest.
Yeah, we
were coming. They were piling through us.
He just looked massive, didn't he? In there, Vinny Souza. He just looked. Yeah. He looked at head and shoulders, literally physically above everyone.
I'll be honest. That first half an hour, it just felt like they wanted it more. It felt like they had the grip between the teeth. They had that bite, and who knows, did they put too much into that first half an hour, and were they goosed come 75, 80 minutes? Possibly, because they did put a lot of work rate and energy into that. They were piling through us all the time. But again, like we saw at Sunderland, Pirot can play in that 10. Whether he can do that for 90 minutes, but he looks so good in that 10. He probably looks better. And then you get Joseph on the pitch, but you can't knock what's happening with the point return. He's performed miracles, I think.
But it's that spearhead, isn't it? You know, when you put, you'll know as formerly playing up front, that spearhead, because Joseph's always on the last man, isn't he? So it drags the defenders back towards Joseph, towards their goal, and it gives Pirot just that freedom to drop off, where we saw so many of them.
Yeah, but naturally in the start of games, it's not like that. Obviously, games get stretched as the game goes on. So in the start of games, it is congested, it is tight, it is hustle bustle, especially in the Yorkshire derby, like that with tackles flying. So sometimes players do look better later on in games purely because there is more space and time, and people are tired and stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't have liked to see them start that way. I think we'd have been wide open.
Quick word on Meslier.
Did you notice that when they came out to start the second half?
No, I was that.
So Meslier comes out to warm up before the second half starts, gets his handling done. Their cop, whatever it is behind the goal, were cheering every time he caught it, which I found quite funny. But you can clearly see other teams in the league clearly see him as a weakness. And I think it was a clear ploy for their corners, throw-ins, free kicks. They were nailing Meslier all the time. Everything was hung up on him. And I think that's what we're going to get. That's all we're going to get. And in fairness, in stoppage time, yeah, the game's won. He came and made a really good save, and Muller Robinson dove at the feet of Campbell, I think it was, when they were all claiming handball. So he did some good things in the second half, but in that first 20 minutes, oh my word, it looked like he had bars of soap he was trying to catch. He looked all at sea. And I didn't even realise until I'd watched it back when I got home, but he actually pushed it into the net. It hit the post, did the header, which...
Mate, it's one of the misses of the season. I can't believe he missed. He hit the post. It wasn't going in, and then momentum took it in, didn't it?
Yeah, so, yeah, probably an opening 25, 30 minutes to forget for him. But
I thought a shining light in that first half was Manor Solomon, to be honest. I don't know what your thoughts were on that. I thought he was really good in that first half. He was just our outlet, wasn't he?
Yeah, so good. At the start of the season, and I'm sure other people with the same opinion, like, really? But as the season's going on, he's become one of the first names on the team sheet. He just looks like the ball is glued to his feet constantly. Just toys with people, and yeah, huge asset that we've had him this season. It'd be interesting to see if we keep him next year. I'm sure Tottenham will be open to do business, but I'm sure there'll be other people wanting to get his signature. But the big thing with him was injuries, wasn't it? And touch wood, he seems to have been all right. He had a bit of a problem at the start of the season, but since then, seems to have done okay. Even though he's took some hits in the last couple of games. Sunderland tried to do him. Sheffield United tried to do him last night. But yeah, it's been excellent. Definitely a shining light last night. Absolutely.
I know we're kind of going everywhere here, but I just wanted to get your thoughts as well on Ampadu. There's a few rumours that it might be the season. Don't know if you've heard that. A few rumours saying that Leeds obviously put out it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks, and then they're going to assess. And we don't like that word assess, do we, Brownie? We've heard it with Strout, we've heard it with Bamford before. And normally with that word, it's not a good connotation for Leeds. But yeah, it'd be big him being out, wouldn't it? If it was a season thing. We do obviously have the depth, but he's been a good presence since he's been back, Ampadu.
Yeah, absolutely. Your captain, your leader, can play that centre half role, centre midfield role. It'd be a big worry for me if we were in Sheffield United's position and we were looking over our shoulders at a 2-point gap. I'd be a bit more worried. But 7 point, I mean, our goal difference is plus 50, which is ridiculous. That's another point. So you're looking at 3 games to play with. No real rush to overdo it and getting back. I'd just make sure you're right for August, if I'm being honest. It might sound blasé, might sound cocky. The Leeds are going up with or without Ampadu. We've got 12 games left, and even 6 wins gets us to 93, like I've said. 93 points with 6 wins.
Even we can't do it, can we, Brownie? Even we can't screw this up.
I just look at the teams that have still to come to Ellen Road, and we're forgetting that Sheffield United and Burnley have still got to play each other. They both can't win. Someone's dropping points that day. So as it starts, I mean, 9:30 last Monday night, there was a 4-point gap to Sunderland. It's quickly become 13. Do you know what I mean? So, and the other thing, Burnley are in the FA Cup at the weekend, which is huge for us because we can go 10 points clear of them before they kick a ball. 10 points. It's a psychological big amount that. And they have to play Sheffield United, and I think it's at Sheffield United. If I'm right.
It's at Burnley.
Yeah, Burnley. Okay, so 0-0 there. Get a point each. Yeah, but on Ampadu, a bit of a blow for him. But if you think back to when we got over the line last time, we had Phillips missing for the last 2 months.
True.
And we managed to get across the line with that. But I don't see us really needing to worry too much, as good as he's been. But I think if you could take any player out now with the lead we've got, I think we've got enough in us to get 6 wins.
I think a quick word as well on Rothwell. I don't think enough is maybe said about him. In these sort of analysis stuff that we do. I think, to be honest, Brownie, his impact in the last 2 games from the bench has been superb, hasn't it? Driving Leeds forward from that midfield, and I love his accountability. I love in that midfield him grabbing hold of the ball, and nothing seems to faze him. And I think he really facilitates Tanaka as well. I think when Rothwell's on the pitch, you see Tanaka's game go up a level as well. And we'll touch on him in a little bit. But Rothwell's been terrific, hasn't he, in these last couple of games?
Yeah, and he seems to, for a lone player, really bought into it, really gets it. We've said a lot of the time it's a big badge to wear, and he seems to have took the game by the scruff of the neck quite a few times. Be interesting to see how much he would cost. It'd be nice to sign him. Would he be a week in, week out playing in the Premier League? Probably not, but definitely to add squad depth. But again, it depends on a price fee on how much he would cost to prize him away. Where would you put him at? What would you put him at?
His age.
2 questions. What would you put him at, and would you want to buy him in the Premier League?
3 to 4 million. And no.
Yeah. And I think I'm with you. It sounds harsh, but yeah, he's been really good. But if he's not starting in the Championship, that then causes a big question in the Premier League.
Definitely, 100%, mate. Yeah, I think just obviously reverting back to the game last night, it made me laugh. You look at Dan James and you think, I didn't think it was one of his better games, but he comes away with 2 assists. It's weird how it works for him at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, for me, he's been my player of the season. He just always seems to do something, produce something. His numbers have been brilliant this season. He's just always an outlet, isn't he? I'd like to see the penalty shout back. I've not seen that other than live at the ground, and obviously when you're at the game, emotions and stuff like that, you instantly screaming for a penalty. Diaz, like he did all game, ran 40 yards to shout at someone. He put more energy into running and chasing after a referee than he did actually trying to trap the ball. Did that?
Yeah,
Burton?
I've seen a lot of him. To be honest, I didn't
Oh,
when I was at the game, I didn't see a lot of it. Maybe I was just focusing
I
on
was
other
wondering if
things.
he was like Wilder's like stepson or long lost son, or like, he loved him on. He honestly, he could have been in the dressing room and something could have happened at half time and he'd have run out to try and get involved in it. He was all over the place. So I'd like to see that decision back. Shame Diaz didn't trap Firpo for the goal.
Yeah, it was
If he'd have chased back like he chased referees, he'd have probably done a bit better. But yeah, we digress. Going back to Dan James, it was a quiet night for 2 assists.
Yeah, I think Wilder said it as well, didn't
He
he?
did indeed. Yeah,
We managed to lock him down, or whatever he said. It's interesting, isn't it, when we're looking at Junior Firpo right now, Brownie. I mean, how do you see him? I mean, last night I thought, like you mentioned, Raksaki, I thought he was good, but I thought Firpo grew into it a little bit more. It was a good battle. Obviously, Firpo got man of the match. I've just seen online that he's changed his agency when it comes to the people representing him. Where do you see him now at Leeds? Obviously his future, his contract runs out in the summer. What are your thoughts?
See, I have always thought he'd run his contract out and go back to Spain.
Yeah.
But he seems so animated in celebrations, in everything. Even going back to when we conceded at Sunderland, he seems determined to get Leeds back to the Premier League. I don't know, mate. I think I've got to be fair. When we got relegated, we had the conversation where I was adamant we'd go back up because of the gulf in quality. Just there is the gap between the Championship Premier League is huge, and we just have too many quality players, and that's why I was so adamant that we would go back up. So on the flip side, when we do go back up, you're playing against much better quality. So do I want to see Firpo up against Salah and players like that again? It's interesting in it for Leeds because we don't defend that much. So going forward, yeah, a brilliant asset, but we've all can remember his 1v1 defending capabilities, and if we do get promoted to the Premier League, we're going to be defending a lot more. So
it's taking sentiment out in it.
It is. It's stripping away the brilliant song and all the crosses and all the attacking bits that he brings, because next year that's going to be limited and it's going to be more defending. If I was a betting man, which I'm no longer, I don't think he'd be there. I think he'd have signed something by now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're seeing something similar, aren't you? Obviously not with just relative, but you're seeing something similar with Trent and Madrid, aren't you? Nothing's been signed, nothing's been done, and you can see he's evidently leaving, even though he's clearly passionate still for Liverpool.
Which he'd leave with all the club's blessing, I think. He's stuck at it.
It's redemption, hasn't it, Brownie? It's been redemption for him at Leeds.
Yeah, he's stuck at it. He didn't jump ship. He's knuckled down. He's done 2 seasons in the Championship, and he's played a major part in this Leeds team nigh on, unless another global pandemic happens. Going back up in May. I saw a stat that I was reading in the car on the way back. There's only Mo Salah with more assists since in the top 4 divisions. There's only Mo Salah with more assists since. I'll get it up.
Is it goals and assists? I think it's
no. It was just assists since New Year's Day, 2024. Only Mo Salah has more assists in the top tiers, in the top 4 tiers of English football. Wow. So he has. He's been brilliant for us. And we said that when Byron was playing, we lost that sort of just that out and out left-footed player that bombs on and attacks. And I mean, he had no right to score that header last night. He's our left back, and he's arriving in the box ahead of so many players. And Yeah, I think he would. If he was to leave, I think he'd leave with no sour taste from anyone. Done a good job for us this season.
Quick word on Joe Rodon as well. I think this season, he's gone to another level. I liked him last season, Joe. Few flaws in his game for me still. I think his passing was great. I think he still needs to add, goals to his game, doesn't he, Brownie? Maybe a little bit more, maybe take a leaf out of Pascal's, but I think he's been excellent. He just how he was reading it. He's so, but his perceptive play as a defender was excellent. Up against a tough customer in Tyrese Campbell last night, a physical customer as well, and he just read the game so well. Just a quick word on him.
I hit the nail on the head. I think he just mops everything up. He's that warrior that you need in a battle hard 46 game season, just to do the job, get it done. No nonsense. Don't see him taking over amount of risks, and he barks out some unpleasantries when needed as well. He does seem to demand more from players, which is what you need in a team. And another one I love the fact that he was on loan last year and he was that adamant he wanted to stay, that he did all the kit launch and everything before he'd even signed. So he was one of them players where was he going to play week in, week out at Tottenham? No. So he needed to find a home, and I think he'd be a player that stays at Leeds for a fair few years, whether we stay up next season or not. He's always that 8 out of 10, isn't he? You never really come away from the game and think, bloody hell, Joe Rodon had a nightmare today. Do you know what I mean? He always just never really gets up for man of the match awards, because obviously the attacking players take all the plaudits, but as consistency goes throughout the season, he's been very good for us. And I think he'd have been a huge blow if we'd have lost him at any point this season.
I wanted you to talk about Tanaka as well. I think in that first half, you nailed it really. That central midfield, they were dominating. I thought Vinny Souza was sort of powering through. I thought Sidney Peck would just look more up for it than our lads, to be honest with you. But the balance seemed to. We seemed to regain a lot of balance, I thought, with the substitutions made. But Tanaka he got the second goal, didn't he? And it's great to see him actually adding these goals to his game now. And
it's an unbelievable header, by the way.
It's so controlled, isn't it? Because it came at him quick. It came at him really quick, didn't it? So it's a really good header, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was quiet first half. Like I mentioned, the three midfielders, I just thought they were getting overrun.
I don't think he was helped though, mate. I'll be honest. I don't think the balance did anything for him in that.
Well, the ball just kept coming back, didn't it? Vinny Souza was just absolutely mullering Brendan Aronson at every opportunity. The ball wasn't sticking. We couldn't get out. And I think I've listened to Dan James say that they changed the way they pressed after half an hour, because it did feel like they had an extra man in there all the time, even though they didn't. The way we were pressing, it just felt like they always had spare men. Maybe the balance impacted that midfield three and made them look, all over the place really at times in that first 25 minutes. But the headers just sums him up to a T. So composed, so calm, and an absolute steal at 3 million. Absolute steal.
I know.
It's weird, isn't it? Because if Ampadu and Gruev don't get injured at the start of the season, we probably don't see much of Tanaka.
They were saying that last night. Yeah, everyone was saying it last night. Rothwell. You definitely don't see Rothwell.
No,
no chance. What did you make of Nonto as well? I thought when he came on, he was excellent last night, Brownie. I thought he was really, really good when he came on.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if Farke's been making a point lately or what, because he's not really. Even at Burnley away, he didn't come on. Wasn't used against Sunderland. He's not been used in these big games, so it was good to see him on the pitch. And it almost a bit like Joseph at Sunderland when he came on. He was like a bit like a man possessed.
Brilliant.
Put a lot more into it, and it felt like that last night with Nonto. He seemed to have that bit of energy and that spark about him again. And it'd have been nice if that goal, the shot would have turned into a goal, because he's a good bit of skill on the edge of the box. But yeah, I think he needed that rocket up the arse, to be honest. His performances this season have been nowhere near what we'd have expected. And if that is the case, that Farke sat him out to get a reaction like that, then it's another good bit of man management, because it's worked with Joseph. Because he, again, last night I thought he put himself about again, and he just seemed to not be playing on easy street, but just feel like, well, I'm sub, so I'm going to come on at 60 anyway, no matter what, or 70, no matter what. And recently, Nonto's been an unused sub, so maybe that's giving him that bit of fire in the belly again to go again, because it's not done as much as we think it is.
No.
It's not quite done yet. We still need a few more wins. So if Nonto can add a couple of goals, that'd be great, because, yeah, he would probably want to be one of my players of the season at the start of the season. If you'd have asked who's going to obviously take the mantle from Somerville or Rutter, you'd have probably said Nonto, but not really seen it this year from him, have we?
No, we haven't. And Farker making subs before the 70th minute. What was it? 2 subs in the 56th minute. I couldn't actually quite believe it. Lads who I was with said he's making subs. I said, no, he's not. You're lying. And then two subs came on in the 56th minute. It was.
I like to think that the bench have just gone rogue and thought, well, he's not here, so can't do anything. Yeah. I'd love that to come out. Looking up at Farker, going, all right, Gaffer, yeah, no problem. We're going to do this.
We're going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that a nod to the fact that the game was title defining?
It definitely felt like, I mean, with the subs that he made, I mean,
he went for it. It was almost like, it was not to that degree, but Norwich away last year, where he just chucked everything at attack, and we had like 2 defenders, and we turned the game around and won. Remember when Somerville scored late on? We were 2-0 down and won 3-2. Not to that degree, but it did feel like, do you know what? We're chucking this. We're going at this. It almost, there was a sense as well in the ground that something was coming, and it just felt like it capitalised on it. He thought, right, let's just go for the jugular. Yeah. And thankfully it worked. But yeah, I'm sure West Brom on Saturday will be back to the 70th minute.
That's it, mate. Right, well, we might catch you on Thursday anyway. That's going to be it for us, guys. Really appreciate it. Make sure you're slapping a like on the video. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. We do both read the comments occasionally. So make sure you let us know. It's been an absolute pleasure. Brownie, cheers for joining me, mate.
Always good, mate.
And we'll see you in a bit, guys. Cheers.